Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's webinar all about maximising your coverage on Press Loft. Whilst everyone's coming, please do use the chat and say hello to us. So I'm Nikki, I'm the founder of Press Loft, and I'm here today with Amy, who is our marketing assistant and also helps with some customer support. So hopefully some of you have chatted to her on intercom or on the phone or on a Zoom. What I'm going to start off with is back to basics. My favourite topic is all about images. So we'll cover 3 critical image tips, which are really important to follow. We'll look at how to find out what journalists are working on using Press Loft, a couple of tips for better press releases. We've done lots of focus groups lately, so we've found 5 things that repeatedly make journalists go mad, which we're going to share with you. We're going to look at how to generate global press coverage to double, if not quadruple, your press coverage. We'll look at sharing images to a wider audience, a feature that we don't really talk about too much, but it's really useful. We'll look at the best products to offer influencers. I'll talk a little bit about affiliate marketing, which has had a really exciting advancement in the past couple of days. And then Amy will wrap up with some lovely account audits from some volunteers we've had pre-meeting. So I think it's really important to start off by understanding why Press Loft and how Press Loft is different to traditional PR. So traditionally, if you were going to do PR yourself, you'd be picking and focusing on a product or a collection, and then you'll be researching, finding journalists' email addresses, writing your press release, pitching in, and then finding the coverage. But with Press Loft, you don't do it like that. It's quite different. What you do is you upload all of your product imagery, and this is the crux of what makes you successful or not. It's your product photography, and it's your whole range. And this is seen by our network of audience. So you're trying to optimize your image results and on our image library. And then they're seen by our audience of 24,000 journalists, bloggers, and influencers. And actually, we went to 25,000 yesterday. So really delighted to hit that next milestone for the network. And then Hannah and her team will send you coverage alerts as and when you find them. So you don't need to worry about that either. So just to start off with, image tip number 1 is all about how many images you have. Quite simply, more images equal more coverage, because your products are going to fit into a wider variety of articles. So very straightforward, more images, more coverage. However, the big thing to know is that recency is important. If you added 1,000 images 2 years ago and didn't touch your image library, you are going to get the same amount of coverage as someone who adds 10 images really, really regularly. You've got to maintain your image library. And an example is here. So this is a lovely graphic which shows someone who added images a year or 2 ago. They had some lovely cracking couple of months of downloads, and then it slowly decreased. And then we'll get a call here saying, Press Loft isn't working, I'm leaving. So this is an example of what it should look like, where you regularly upload your images, you're maintaining your image library at the top of the search, and therefore your results are going to be maintained. And that's very, very important. Now, we know that plenty of people have small caps. They might have 10 images, 20 images, 30 images. It doesn't mean to say that you need to increase your cap. You just need to manage your image library really rigorously. And one of the tips today is about using this filter here. So it defaults to the newest images first in your image library. But if you go here and you go lowest downloads first, you can get rid of the images which are not performing for you and replace those with ones which potentially will do better. And then you can replace those ones following the tips that we've got today, which will hopefully see you get more coverage. So image tip number 2 is one which I talk about a lot, which is different image styles lead to greater coverage. And this is simply because journalists have different image style requirements for every article. So one journalist might be doing something on sofas. They're looking for a header image of a beautiful styled sofa in a lifestyle shot. But they also need some cutouts to represent the shopping call outs through the article as well. So the bigger variety of styles of images that you're going to have, again, you're going to broaden your reach with our network. And a great example here is from Boutique Camping. For just one of their products, the Luna Bell tent, they have all of these photos. They're absolutely beautiful. So they've got some styled in a wedding format. They've got some styled here beautifully for coronation. They've got some cutouts for more technical shopping features. They've got some on beaches, campsites, internal shots. They have nailed it. So this means that they're really broadening their capabilities of getting coverage for this one product alone. So that is a superb tip there. Then just so that you understand, I've said this many times before, but cutouts, they represent about 60% of the coverage. So this is perfect for gift guides, for mood boards, which are increasing in popularity, and get the look styles. You can cut your images out on Studio. I've got this lovely lamp here from Sassy to illustrate it. So if you pop your image into our editor on Studio, you can see here it's on a slightly grey background. It's better to have it on a pure white background. So what you can do here is you click on here and you can see cutout image appears. I'll just do that again, see cutout image. So you click that. This takes about 30 seconds. So I have just done one here. So you can see here, it's on a pure white background. I'd probably make that bigger there, make it fill the shot. And then here under download, you can click save to image library there, and it will save it to your image library with that pure white background. Then lifestyles, they make up the remaining 40% of the coverage that we get on Press Loft. These make beautiful blog headers. These are increasing in popularity simply because we're getting a huge number of online articles coming out, but they also make massive features in publications and front covers. So another tip around lifestyle is make sure they're high resolution at A4, so not smaller, because they won't make the cut. Otherwise, if they want to feature you on the front cover, you don't want them to have to come back to you, ask for a higher one. You might miss the boat then. So image tip number 3, I really covered this point in our last webinar about summer PR styling, but I wanted to bring it up again because it's so important. So it's about making your product images relevant to the media, and that's about being relevant to what they're working on now. So Grillo is a great example. So they make outdoor barbecues. They deal with, classically, they'd be in all the summer press. But by styling their photography around a winter garden and turkey and people with bobble hats on, like you can see back here, they have pushed their remit into all of the winter-based coverage as well. So really, really clever. So not only is it about styling, but it's also about backdrops and props, and colors are really important here. So you might not have, for example, a sage product, but the backdrop and the paint color behind the scenes could really pull you into those sage articles. And the same with cushions and flowers and any other type of styling that you can bring in color trends. So do keep an eye on that as well. So where can you find out what journalists are working on? And there are, well, 4 main areas that you can use Press Loft to find out what journalists are working on now. So first of all, we shall go over, this one. At the top right-hand corner of your dashboard, you've got the PR calendar, which Amy maintains. So we've got the King's Coronation, Father's Day, Midsummer, Wimbledon, Picnic Essentials, and Alfresco Dining. Really hot topics right now. But alongside that, every day this is updated as well. So you just scroll down and you can see recent top searches by journalists. And here we've got Coronation. Just as a side, I think it's really important to understand how short these lead times are getting now. So we used to recommend that you do press releases around, 4 months ahead of the time. So just to be clear, a lead time is the gap between when a journo starts working on an article and when it comes out. So in theory, you'd think they'd be starting Coronation right back 4 months ago, January. But we're seeing journalists right now write articles around Coronation because of the massive rise in online content that's being produced via Press Loft. So all of those online articles in Living Etc. online, Ideal Home online, as well as influencers. So it is important to be aware of lead time shortening. So you've got your searches, you've got your calendar. And also, if we go over to the trends, so if you go to the front of the site and you go to trends, you can opt in here to get notified about new trends. So you click here and then you pop in your email address and you'll be subscribed to that. But also, Amy, you send out newsletters, don't you, which tell people about trends. So when do they go out roughly?
We tend to do one a month, and it's usually a roundup of the key searches that you mentioned just a minute ago, as well as trends that have just come out and a heads up for the next 4 or so that we have on our list. These are usually curated in advance, but we're kind of ticking through them as we go. So we send that out so that you can weave it into your keywords and everything and can increase your chances of being included. Yeah.
And if you're not receiving our newsletters, then you can go to your settings page and opt back in. Some people have opted out of a marketing. So sometimes someone might have unsubscribed in your team. So just make sure you are opted in. If you don't know, just send us a message and we can check for you. But those newsletters are so valuable in knowing what's coming up so that you can get prepared, add your images in advance, add your keywords in advance so we can find you. If ever you think you should be in a trend and you're not, again, just use the chat here and we'll add you to any of the trends that we've missed if we think the images are relevant. So the other side of it are the requests. Now, which one is this one? Here we go. So we've just actually rebuilt requests. It's much more easy to use. It's really clear now. And it's a very useful way to find out big topics and trending topics and hot things that journalists are working on. So I just noticed here that Father's Day, I mean, we know that Father's Day is big, but it really is. There's loads of requests for Father's Day products. There are also lots around gardening and outdoors again. So you can use that as a basis to decide what you're going to be promoting at the moment. And then, so you found out that journalists are working on Father's Day. What do you do next? So you upload all of your relevant imagery. You make sure that your relevant keywords are added as well, and write press releases. So we're not going to do a full press release webinar today. We have a really lovely video which summarizes exactly what to do, when to do it, and how on our video. So it's pressloft.com/app/video, and you can get loads of content there about how to write press releases. But five key tips. First of all, do them. Press releases get an average between 2 and 5 pieces of coverage and really help you stay front of mind. So think of it a bit like a customer newsletter. So not everyone is going to buy every product that you feature, but it will help you stay front of mind. It's about brand awareness building with our media network. But when you do them, do your new launches first. Journalists need to know what's new, what's news, what's up and coming. That's their favorite thing to write about. So do make sure that you cover that first. And then if you haven't got a new launch, use the hooks. So find out what journalists are working on, like we've given you some ideas before, and then make your press release work around those topics. In the title, it's very, very important that you have 3 elements to it. So one, if it's new, make sure the word new is in the title so the journalist knows this. Make sure the product type is mentioned in the title. So it might be picture frames, or it might be planters or sofas. Make sure that's in there. And then the hook. So it might be Mother's Day gifts, Father's Day gifts. It might be the trend that Amy's put out. It might be something that you've spotted in the industry. Make sure that that's mentioned in the title as well. And the last tip on press release is about offering samples. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that most people don't do sampling because it's very expensive. But if you do have spare product, if it is affordable to you, it can double your press coverage results from a press release because people love getting their hands on a product. So I'd really recommend offering samples if you can, but just say something like some samples available. That covers your back. So then you can curate who you're going to send those samples out to. So as I mentioned earlier, we've done loads of focus groups with journalists over the past year just to get their feedback on various new services. And 5 things repeatedly came up that they really can't stand. So we thought we'd share them with you. So first of all, it's live images of products which are no longer available. Some of the terms that they've brought up are that it's really embarrassing when I've submitted an article to my editor and they've pushed back saying that's no longer available. It's a waste of time. It's really frustrating. Basically try not to be that person, because it's really annoying if they can't trust your image library and they can't know that those images are really going to be valuable or valid. Something to talk about is that we have a functionality called the XML feed. And if you can generate an XML feed from your image library, from your shop, you can put that URL into our system and then everything is done automatically behind the scenes. It is a bit technical. If you do have a tech team or some tech support, or you are technical yourself, then do that, because it makes such a difference to your visibility, because you're regularly uploading those images as well as the reliability of your image library. So just drop us a line in the chat if you want to know more about that one. And then along the same sort of lines, missing or incorrect prices, definitely something that journalists really can't stand. It's a real time drain for them to have to check, double check all your pricing, or they're not there. And if it is missing, very often they're not allowed to feature products without the prices. Obviously, it doesn't work if it's a bespoke product. If it's something which is a broad range of prices, I would recommend putting the prices from in the RRP section so they have something to work with. The next one is spammy keywords with irrelevant results. So for example, a client might have seen the word coronation is on our top search, and they've gone and whacked coronation into every mug that they sell or every print that they sell, and it's irrelevant. It doesn't match the theme at all. That really drives the media mad. It it just ruins the experience for them on the search result, and it doesn't save time. Everything we do is about saving people time, about making PR easier on both the media and the brand side of the network. And that is exactly, really doesn't work. So actually we've become a lot stricter on that. If people repeatedly use spammy keywords, we now hide their images until they're fixed. So just be aware that we're trying to keep that search really relevant. The fourth one is about images that aren't big enough in high resolution. I touched on that earlier. If you have invested in really good photography, make sure that those lifestyles are big enough at A4. And then the last one is emails that say, let me know when you featured our product. I know it's tempting, and I know you're desperate to know when the coverage is coming out, but it's something that the journalists don't like and they can't respond to, because you imagine that they download 200 images a day. And if everyone was responding in that way, then they'd just be inundated, and they generally don't respond. So I would really advise that you don't do that as well. So now we are on to this other part, which is really lovely. I love this section. International coverage is so important on Press Loft. It's one of our key strengths, is that we have a huge international network of thousands of top titles, particularly in the interiors sector. So just some I wanted to mention in terms of how significant they are. So we've got Architectural Digest in countries like Spain and Mexico, Elle in Italy and Spain, Elle Decoration in places like Belgium and Argentina and Germany, Glamour in Hungary and Germany, Harper's Bazaar in the UAE and Romania. So, I mean, really top titles. And it's very simple just to activate your image library to a whole new network. It means that you don't need to be hiring agencies in every country just to get seen there. Plenty of people do also have agencies in each territory, but if you're on a budget, then this is a great way to get international exposure. And it's very, very simple to do. So I'm just going to go back to here. You go over to your settings, go to international settings here, and then here. So my company is located in, that's where you physically send your products from. And then where you ship to is anywhere you ship your products to. So really important to activate that. You can double, triple, quadruple your coverage really easily with just filling in this page correctly. So what else are we covering now? So sharing images. I love this one as well. This is really straightforward, a way to get more from your image library with doing very little work. So you can see here on your dashboard, you've got two links. One is to your profile on Press Loft on the shared network. And this link here is your private press room here. And this is my demo account. And the way you set up this URL is going over to design settings, setting up your URL here, which is typically your company name. If you haven't set up your company name, it will default to a number, so it doesn't look as good. So I'd really recommend that you put your company name in there. You've got your logos, your text, you can set a header image, you can determine what shows on that content, and your social channels. And then what we'll do is it always says this, it always comes up with the error. Don't worry about that, just click leave because it will save. Go back to your dashboard, and then you can share this link in the way that some clients have. So B&Q, we've got a media center, a simple link here, click to download images. So they're scooping up coverage from any media that are coming direct to site. We've got Mind the Gap here, who've got a link in their footer, really straightforward. And that link there leads to this page. And they've got a lovely link here to download just their images there. And then another client here uses it in their out of office. So I'd really recommend having a link to Press Loft if you are a media professional. So if you regularly get lots of media inquiries, pop that in your out of office and you will get coverage when you're on holiday or when you're on the weekends. Really great way to get coverage without doing any work. So next up, there's a different way of sharing images as well. So here, it's share. And this allows you to invite non-users of Press Loft to download your content. So that might be your own media network. It might be your marketing managers. It might be your graphic designers. Very straightforward. You just click share here and it sends them an alert to register to request access to just your content. So nice, simple way there to work. So that's all about sharing. Now on to influencers. So influencer marketing is a bit Marmite. It'd be lovely to know in the chat if you do it, if you're not sure, if you really hate it, you've had bad experiences. I think it's really, really, really worth considering. So influencer marketing is a way that you offer something to an influencer and they will write some content and share to their audience in return for something. And that something might be gifts, money, competition prizes, or typically a blend of all of those. So what you can do on Press Loft is write out what you're looking to promote. So for example, I'm looking to raise profile of my new print collection. I'm going to offer you a selection of prints for yourself, £50, and a competition prize for your audience. And then you will say which channels you're looking to raise your profile on. So it might be Instagram and Pinterest. And then you say what minimum follower numbers that you're looking for as well. We give you some guide on site as to what you need to offer. But just roughly, we can see that the best collaborations with the most applicants offer a few of these things. So they need to be desirable seasonal products for the influencer's personal use. So, you know, there's this story that goes around about influencer, a big brand that offered plasters to an influencer to use in return for some posts. Well, A, the value wasn't there, and B, it's not that exciting or sexy. So it needs to be something that they really are into and really want. The product value needs to be at least £30, but I'd say, you know, go as high as you can. The more generous you are, the better caliber of influencer with the bigger reach and the bigger impact for your business you're going to get. So minimum £30 product value, and then money. So the bigger the influencer, the less likely they are to do anything for just a product. They're trying to make a living out of their network. You need to honor the time that they're spending on creating that content and doing this activity for you. So I really recommend offering at least £50, but when you're looking at influencers with tens, hundreds of thousands, you'll need to be offering tens of hundreds. So you need to be offering thousands of pounds to them as well. So it all depends on budget and how much you value influencer marketing. When you're doing a competition and you're looking to raise your profile that way, which is going a little bit out of favor, to be honest, but if you are doing a competition, then make sure that you also offer something for the influencer to use themselves, be it money or product, because you're going to get a much better return. You're going to get a much better number of applicants. Discount only, so only offering a discount for the audience just won't work. You need to offer something as well, again, product or money. So there are tips around collaborations. Now, this is my final bit today before I pass on to Amy, but affiliate marketing is the newest part of our site, and it really is the future of PR. If you don't know about affiliate marketing, I've got a whole video on it, and it's a real deep dive into how the whole system works. But in a nutshell, it's when a brand incentivizes a publisher or influencer to feature their products by offering them a commission when they generate a sale from their readers or followers. So in the same way that we make PR really simple, we love to make affiliate marketing really, really easy as well. So we've got 3 apps for 3 different types of stores. So one for Shopify stores, one for Magento, and one for WooCommerce. We know that not everyone is built on those, but they're the ones we've started the launch with. That covers about 70-80% of our network. So if you're built on that, this is available to you. So you install our app, takes a few minutes. You set your commission level, which on the whole is about 10%, and that works really well. And then it allows the media to generate affiliate links via the image library or via their own technology. So someone like Future Publishing has their own technology that we plug ours into so they can track the sales. So this whole technology is about link tracking. So it tracks sales coming from their articles and social channels where they feature those links, and it calculates and gives commission to publishers automatically who generate sales for you. So again, it's really hands-off, really easy to use. And like I mentioned, it is absolutely the future of PR. Print has declined. The ad revenue that they're getting from print is relatively low now, and they've had to look at other ways to monetize, and it's working really, really well. And what I love about it is the essence of it is really positive. You're incentivizing a publisher to sell your products, not just feature your products, but sell your products, because then everyone wins. We've got 146 brands in the network who are now members. On the media side, we've got over 500 media. And what I wanted to say today is we were so excited that Future PLC finally got over the line 2 days ago and joined our affiliate network. It was a lot longer process than we anticipated because the technology involved was really sophisticated, and we had to plug into their network and wait for some development time. Anyway, we are now live with Future, which means Living Etc., Real Homes, Homes and Gardens, and all the, I think it's hundreds of publications that they have are now live with our network. So it's really fantastic. We had a piece of coverage just today with Sazzy, who are part of our affiliate network. And you can see here, this really focused on luxury for less style article, very clear call to action. This is the real difference. A typical editorial article is like this. It's very educational. Whereas these affiliate articles are all about let's buy some product, and it's got very big CTA, so calls to actions to buy these products. And this is generating so many clicks already. So if you do want to get involved, then we are currently in our launch offer. The launch has been extended because it's taken so long to get Future over the line. And we've got another hopefully big deal coming through in the next few weeks as well. But it ordinarily would cost £75 a month to add on affiliate capabilities onto your account. That's going to be free forever whilst you have a paid account if you sign up during the launch. So that will probably end in about 8 weeks' time, and then we will be charging for that. One thing to say, though, is obviously the commission is still payable. It's the add-on which will be charged. If you do want to know more, just drop us a line in the chat. We can take you through that, but it's very, very easy to set up. You simply go over to the site, go to affiliate here, and then you'll see a form to fill in. If it loads, there we go. And it'll just tell you about your network. If you're not built on one of those 3 platforms, so WooCommerce, Magento, Shopify, just let us know that you're built on something else and you are interested, and we'll register that as we launch new apps. We have some technology which tells us what you're built on, so don't worry, you don't need to tell us that. And we'll be adding more. If there is a big drive for one particular technology, then we'll get that built later in the year. So you can go through there, fill that in, and then you'll be opted in, and everything is done for you behind the scenes. So again, if you want to know more, just shout and we will talk you through that. So Amy, over to you now. I've been rabbiting on for half an hour.
Okay, I shall share my screen. Basically, we've had 2 lovely brands volunteer to let us take a look at their account and just see if there's anywhere they can potentially optimize it, just to make sure that they're maximizing their coverage opportunities on the platform. So the first brand I want to take a look at is these guys called Fable and Mirth.
Lovely.
They're a gorgeous homeware and gift brand that has just recently joined the platform, I think about a month ago or so. So they're still relatively new. But taking a look at their download report, even though they've only been on for about a month or so, they've already made such a significant impact with their images. So they're getting international downloads. There's ones from Red Magazine, Home and Garden Germany as well, and a load of other really lovely titles. And that's with such a short amount of time. And obviously there's international downloads. So it shows they have their settings all in order, which is great to see. As Nikki mentioned.
Sorry, yeah, I was just going to, I think that's adding 50-60% coverage because they've got their international settings on already. So really, really great that they're getting coverage in the Netherlands and Germany. So really, really positive. Oh, hi, Ian. That's sassy saying.
It just means that, you know, you're casting your net as wide as possible.
Yeah.
So you're getting as many eager eyes to your products as possible, which is always great. So if you haven't changed your settings, anybody else who's watching, I would definitely recommend doing that. If you do ship internationally, make sure it's reflected. So going into your actual account now, so obviously the image library is where most of your downloads and coverage will come from, so I'm going to focus mostly on that. The first thing I did notice is, so currently you have quite a large image allowance to play around with, but only a fraction of it has been used so far, which is a shame, because we were obviously taking a look at your website and you have loads of beautiful products on there to showcase. So the main tip I'd say is, with all of those other high-res images that you likely have, get them on the platform as soon as you can. It just means journalists have a wider variety of products to choose from your brand as well. So it opens up more opportunities for inclusion in different articles as well. In terms of your current library, though, to focus on what you have currently live, for the most part, your images are quite strong. There were 1 or 2 areas, though, I just wanted to flag, just so you can maybe take a look and make some tweaks as well. So the first one is just down here. Here we go. So this artichoke vase, the product itself is beautiful, and I'm such a sucker for these kind of products as well that are leafy greens and stuff. But unfortunately, it's listed as a cutout down here, but it's on this sort of off-white background with remnants of shadow here, as opposed to this crisp white background that you have used for other products on your image library as well. So the issue with that is, as Nikki mentioned before, it likely won't cut out very well. It might have remnants of shadow and little specks of gray and stuff. And that can be the difference between your product being included or a journalist going for a different brand, just because they don't always have time to do any extra editing themselves. So if it's crisp and white on the background, it's easier for them to just take it out and use it wherever they need within their feature. As Nikki showed, you can use it in Studio to cut out the background, but there are other tools online as well if you want to look for a variety of different ones, just so you can do it in-house and take care of that and highlight your best products in the best way.
Yeah, so ours are just our cutout tool is, it has to be a really clean consistent background, I'm not sure how well it would work on that, but do give it a go. It's included. So, just have a go. And then there's some other very affordable ones. You can pay people to do them a couple of dollars to cut them out, but it's really worth it for yourself. And you can use obviously that then on your own site too.
Exactly. And then it just means it's one less thing for journalists to worry about as well. So you're saving time for them, and you're ensuring you have a higher chance of it being included in some really lovely articles. So the next one I wanted to pinpoint is, it's more of a nitpicky point, but I still think it was worth highlighting. So this necklace, again, it's a beautiful piece. However, this lifestyle in particular, it feels a little too zoomed in. So the product itself feels a little squished in the current image ratio that it's in. So if you have another shot that's a little more blown out and zoomed out so that the necklace itself can stand on its own a little more, I would recommend adding that. It's also worth, if you have a cutout option for that product, including that as well, because then it means it can be included in some really nice fashion roundups as well, or gift guides and whatnot. But again, that one's more of a nitpicky one. The shadow one was the more obvious point to highlight as well. The main thing as well that I wanted to go into is your keywords. So I'm going to use this image as an example because it's perfect for the spring summer season we're currently in. It's got gorgeous colors and floral patterns as well, and it's on that nice crisp white background that we mentioned. So you've ticked all the boxes in terms of the image. However, looking at your keyword bank just down here, at face value, it's quite strong. It does include a lot of different variations, which is nice. However, you're focusing quite a lot on key phrases as opposed to individual keywords. And a lot of journalists, they will search by individual words as well as phrases as well. So by not including them, you're kind of missing a trick, I think. So for example, up here, you have flower design, but there was no instance of, say, flower on its own, or floral as well would be another good one. Making sure you're including things like that just means, again, you're showing up in as many relevant search results as possible. Another one down here, if I can find it, yeah. So you have ceramic lunch plate as well. So things like ceramics, ceramic plate, individual terms like that will do you really well. So I would recommend adding those in, maybe reviewing some of your other images as well to see if that's been a pattern in some of your keywords as well. It just means you're attracting as many eyes to your products as possible. So it's just a little bit of account maintenance more than anything. So those are the main points that I had about your image library. The other main thing that I wanted to go over was press releases. So currently that's a part of your membership that you aren't really utilizing yet. And I would recommend giving it a go, even just to test the waters and see whether it's something you want to implement in your strategy. So we have 3 titles that you might want to use. These are just suggestions, but things you might want to dip your toes into. So the first one I have is introducing the Natch Bijou jewelry collection. And the reason for that is when we were on your website, if I scroll down here, I can see that you've sort of highlighted this individual jewelry collection as well, which is a great topic for a press release. It separates it from the rest of your offerings, so your lovely homewares and other gifting items, puts them in a really nice spotlight. And a recurring trend for this particular jewelry line was like elements of nature and animals, which are always big things for spring and summer. So it would be definitely worth putting them in a spotlight under that kind of context, I think. Another potential press release topic would be timeless pieces for the modern home, Fable and Mirth's classic homeware designs. So with that, you have a little more agency and a little more control. You can sort of pick a selection of your products that you think are timeless pieces that you can see being passed down to the next generation as well. And it allows you to kind of be a little more flexible with your offering as well with the actual context of the press release. And then the last one we have is folk florals for spring and summer. So as I highlighted, these floral ceramics and stuff will be beautiful for that kind of topic. Folk florals in particular is a trend that we've pinpointed for 2023, but a few months ago when we were chatting with the Better Trends Co as well, they highlighted floral overload as a big trend for 2023 as well. So considering you have an abundance of products that fit in with it, it would be a shame not to utilize it as part of your press release strategy as well. So there are just a few ideas. Whether you want to use them or not, it's entirely up to you, but it might be good to just kind of get you started and get the ball rolling as well. Great. So that's all I have for Fable and Mirth. So the next brand I'm going to take a look at has been on with us for a little longer. They've been on since 2020, I believe, and that's the Tartan Blanket Co. So they're well known for their luxury wool blankets, scarves, and accessories and whatnot, and they have some gorgeous products and images throughout their website as well. So taking a look at their trend report or their download report again, just to start. So you can see this correlation Nikki mentioned earlier between when they've had increases in upload or update activity leading to an increase in media activity as well. The one thing I did want to flag is, so they've had an increase in activity in August on their end, August, September time, which would have been ahead of their sort of peak season for a lot of their products in the lead up to Christmas. And then it just went quiet for about 3 months, 4 months or so. And while they clearly, it stood them in good stead because their products were well ahead of sort of a key season for them, their coverage and their downloads just sort of dropped as of January after that. But you can see here, they've started implementing monthly check-ins here and there, little updates, little and often, which has led to an upturn in their download activity again as well. So the one thing I would recommend is continue with this. Little and often checks to your account is usually the best way forward. It's the best way to ensure consistency in this media activity as well. And it's also the best way for you to gauge what's working and what's not, rather than uploading everything at once and then leaving it and hoping for the best. But to be fair, you've been getting quite consistently good downloads from a range of publications, even with that quiet period as well. So you've been doing it for quite some time. You know what works anyway. Moving on to your image library in particular. So first things first, again, it's another instance of not utilizing your full alliance. So as a smaller membership, yes, you have a smaller live image cap to work with. So it would be a shame not to utilize it to its fullest. And there's about 13 images you can squeeze in there, definitely, that you could be showcasing. We also have options to hide and unhide images as well. So it means you can utilize your image library to the fullest and rotate through your offering as often as possible. The reason I mention it as well is because while taking a look at your website, we did spot some beautiful products that haven't been given any spotlight in your current listings as well. Currently, you're focusing more on your core products. So that's your scarves and your blankets and your picnic blankets, which is all relevant too. But one example that I had is just down here. So the ready-made gift box. On your website, you actually have a range of gift boxes to play around with, as well as the option to personalize gift boxes. And considering we're approaching Father's Day, which obviously, Nikki, there's quite a lot of interest still for Father's Day, it would be a shame not to be utilizing some of those extra slots for live images to showcase any of the products for men, any specific sets or any other ones that can be used for men as well. I remember spotting, I think it was one to help with sleep as well, which was a lovely gift idea. So I would definitely recommend adding a couple of different ones for these gift boxes if you have time and you have the high-res images available from your website. Aside from that, though, I think also utilizing some of the slots maybe to highlight some of the Tartan Blanket Co. collection products. So this is sort of a collection that's a little bit hidden on your website as well, but it's little luxuries and extras that you can add on to make a gift a little more personalized and a little more wholesome. So things like lip balms, hand creams, mugs, things like that. Adding them to your image library just means that you're catering to other kinds of journalists within the industry as well, who might not be looking for blankets and scarves as well. So it's something to consider. Overall, though, I will say your images are super strong across the board. The lifestyles themselves, they're catered to each season. So if you look here, this is a gorgeous lifestyle shot of the picnic blanket on the beach as well. So it's perfect for the summer features, and it shows that you're a relevant brand year round. When you think of like tartan blankets and whatnot, you do think of like the cozy by the fireplace getting warmed up kind of image, whereas this kind of puts it in a relevant context for these warmer sunny months ahead. And then when it comes to your cutouts as well, they're super crisp, super clear, high quality. So it means they're easy for journalists to work with as well. The one thing I would mention is while taking a look at your keyword bank, if I scroll down here. So for the most part, you've ticked all the boxes. So this is more of a nitpicky thing, but it's something you might want to weave in anyway. I love that you guys are using variations in your keywords. So accessories and accessory. Down here, I think there was stripes and stripy here. I think there was checked and checkered as well. So you're kind of ticking all the different variation boxes, which is great. Plus, I can see that you guys have been implementing some of our recommended trends as well. So like Sleep Sanctuary and Show Your Stripes were all pushed in the newsletter. So that's great to see as well. The only thing that I would recommend or highly encourage really is don't forget to include your key color terms. So in that keyword bank, there were things like bold and bright, which are still relevant. However, for a product like this, you need to be implementing variations of red in there. And in fact, I don't actually think red was included in this keyword bank. No, it wasn't. So things like that, where you're not using red, rust, clay, tomato, things like that, it's definitely worth weaving in, especially because when it comes to on-site trends in particular, we see the highest rate of downloads for color-based trends. That still also correlates with trend-based articles or color-based articles as well. We see a high volume of downloads for those kind of articles. So if you're not including your different colors, you're missing a trick. So I would definitely recommend combing through, seeing if there's any that you've missed. I think in this yellow one as well, you had yellow, but not the likes of mustard and stuff. So including a few different shades of any core colors for your products, make sure you're combing through and double checking that. Aside from that, though, your images, I think across the board, you've ticked all the boxes. So it is just more of a little trick to weave in as opposed to any big changes.
I mean, it's a really well managed account with beautiful imagery. Yeah.
100%.
So very good. Yeah.
So I know that you guys don't currently utilize press releases, which is entirely fair. But if that was something you did want to do for your strategy for the upcoming months or whatnot, I did have a couple of press release titles that you might want to use anyway. So the first one I have is the Tartan Blanket Co's Guide to Father's Day Gifting. So as we mentioned, those gift boxes in particular would be perfect, especially if you're highlighting the set boxes as well as the option to personalize them. And then you can also weave in some of your individual products down here, like individual scarves, different color schemes and stuff that you think would be good for any meal recipients and whatnot. Do make sure that you're weaving Father's Day into any of those relevant products into their keywords as well. But it's just a great way to provide sort of a curated guide for any journalists who are still looking for last minute additions. The second one I have is Picnic in Style with Outdoor Blankets by the Tartan Blanket Co. So like we mentioned, especially for these lifestyle images, they're already in the context of sunnier months ahead. So it's great to put them in the spotlight in that context for journalists who are sourcing for those kinds of features as well. And then the last one I have is the Tartan Blanket Co.'s Guide to Embracing Heritage Style. So this is the kind of press release that allows you to situate yourself as an expert in the industry and in that particular trend. Shows like a little more of a personality behind the brand and who's behind it as well. But it also allows you to showcase sort of a variety of styles, especially your tartan collection, I think would do particularly well for that kind of feature. So those are just the main suggestions. The other thing that I would suggest while taking a look at your account was that you're currently built on Shopify, but don't have affiliates. So as Nikki mentioned, it's sort of the next natural step for PR. So I would definitely recommend looking into that. It's easy to do, especially while it's free on the platform, just to dip your toes into it and see whether it's a viable thing for your strategy. And it would be a shame for you to miss out on some really valuable coverage because of that. Obviously for Fable and Mirth, you guys are trialing at the minute, so it's not an option just yet. But if you did want to stay on, it is compatible with WooCommerce. So that might be something you want to do if you stay on with us on the platform. But yeah, that's all of my tips for now.
Thank you. That was so useful. It was just great to see those tips in practice on real accounts. So that's great. Does anyone have any questions? I have got a few to go through. So one is there a way affiliate marketing is available outside of the three platforms? So on Squarespace, not at the moment, Zita. We're really focusing on those for the majority of the network for now until we get the rest of the publishers on. And then we'll look at priorities about volume of who's been interested in the affiliate market and how many people. So Squarespace is definitely up there because we've had a lot of interest in that already. So what are the fees for the affiliate network? We're keen to try. So again, it's free for the add-on, but you pay your commission. You set your commission level. Typically it's about 10%. And then I'm just going to scroll back to the questions about influencer marketing. So some people do it. Some people do it ad hoc. Some people say it doesn't appeal to clients, the PR agency there. And someone said they sent out one last week. For just in case anyone wants to know, for influencer marketing, it's £75 for a collaboration, or it's included in premium. Christine says, can we share the affiliate network with press and influencers, or do they need to be part of Press Loft? They do need to be part of Press Loft, but they can apply if they're a genuine press or a decent influencer, then they will pass the application as well. So yeah, please do that. That's great. Any more questions for us before we wrap up? No? Okay, so how is the commission paid? Via Press Loft? Yes, that's it, Nicola. So it's all done automatically via your Stripe account, and it's all calculated with another provider that we use called Trolley as well. So that's all done. It's again
There's
quite
one
seamless.
Other question here from Mimi. I noticed the products you highlighted didn't populate the URL of the company website or item references. Does this matter? It's
Ooh,
recommended. Definitely. Some brands, they will literally just put a URL to their website. Others will go directly to the
yeah,
product. Some don't always use it as well. It is entirely
yeah.
up to the brand. I would encourage it though. It means that journalists can go to the website and find out any additional information just in case. We always encourage including everything just on site, so it means it's a one-stop shop. But some journalists do like to peruse the website for any additional tidbits they
Yeah.
can weave in. So
Yeah, I would definitely do that. I would strongly recommend that. Yeah. Okay, a couple of questions here. Really great. Can you pick and choose who you'd like affiliate marketing to go live with, or it's available to all? Yeah, unlike other networks, ours is about our whole network because we have a very curated network. So you can't pick and choose who you go live with in terms of publishers in exactly the same way as you can't do with the editorial coverage that we generate. Sophie Ashworth has said, although you any tips, sorry, to help write press releases? This is definitely covered in a really deep dive into press releases, a video that we've done, but I'm gonna give a little sneaky peek. We have a really exciting new product which I beta tested yesterday coming up, which will help you write press releases. That's what I'm going to say at the moment, but you probably guess what it's all about. It's absolutely brilliant, and we'll definitely get you on beta. If you just drop us an email, tell us that you're interested, and we can give you access to that. We'll be rolling it out really quickly because it's very cool. So Nicola Kent, can you define affiliates just to the UK? Yeah, it depends on your settings. It's all based on your ship to your international settings. So if you're only available in the UK, your affiliates will only be available in the UK. The caveat is someone like Future PLC and the next one we might work does share content throughout the world. I would say if you're very strict on it, probably don't do it. There's a little bit less in terms of Future as an international publication, so they may share to the States as well. So yeah, sorry, maybe we can talk offline about that one just to get an example of exactly what you're looking for. What else have we got? Is it possible to launch? If we're launching wedding earrings and we don't want to wait for them, can we create a press kit and approach them? Does that mean if you haven't got the product yet, can you PR early?
in which case,
can.
There are also options on the website to put a launch date for the products and stuff as well. So you can sort of sow the seeds in advance of them being live.
Yeah, you can. You can give it a go and then also do a launch later once it's actually available as well. Will affiliates cost stay? Yeah. So Sally, will affiliate cost stay at £0 after launch if you start during launch? Yes, as long as you have a paid account, you will not pay that add-on fee. You will only pay the commission. If you go and then come back, obviously, then you will be charged if you want to join it. So yeah, it's a really good offer. It's free for life as long as you've got a paid account. So it's definitely worth doing now. I think we've answered all the questions. If we haven't, just shout and I will have a look. Great. That was brilliant. Oh, how long is the launch period? Wow, it's really difficult because we thought it was only going to originally be a month, but it took us so long to get over the line with Future. And we've got a couple of other big publishers who, again, were waiting for technical set up with. And because they're so massive, it's taken a lot longer. So we're extending it for at least 4 weeks, if not 8 weeks. After that, once we're set up with so many decent publishers, then the value is definitely there. So we will be charging for it if you haven't joined already. So just to be clear that if you join now, it will stay free forever, as long as you remember. Okay, hopefully that was useful. We'll get this recorded and sent out. I've done a pre-recording, which was a lot shorter, so we might send out that one instead, but really, really great to see so many of you here, get lots of questions. Thanks, Amy, for all your lovely tips and advice, and we'll see you again next month. Take care. Bye.